Hi everyone, welcome to my new show, What You Watching, where every week I'm going to talk about a couple movies that I think you should be watching, whether you wanted to see them in theaters and just missed out, you forgot that you wanted to see them, you didn't even know they existed, or you didn't realize you could watch them now. So every week, come join me to talk about three different movies that I think you should be watching. Our first movie is going to be Poms. P-O-M-S, Pom-Poms, Poms. This movie stars Diane Keaton as an elderly woman who voluntarily sells all of her stuff and checks herself into a retirement community where she wants to be left alone. And there's reasons for that we're not going to get into here because no spoilers. But at this retirement community, she is required to join some kind of club and be proactive and participate in things. Well, she doesn't want to until her wacky neighbor gets involved and they decide that they're going to start a cheerleading club. They recruit a bunch of the other women and shenanigans happen. During this time, she really becomes best friends with the neighbor and a high school girl that they were originally enemies with. Again, not going to get into that, no spoilers or anything, but the relationship building in this movie is fantastic. Diane Keaton is probably one of the best actresses we've ever had that is sorely underrated. She is making movies lately. I know a couple years ago she came out with a movie called Book Club. Book Club was fantastic as well. If you haven't seen it, you definitely should. But she's making movies for women of an older age now because everything is either for kids or, teenagers to 30-something-year-olds. There's nothing really for anybody above that. Well, Diane Keaton's putting an end to that. And Poms is her newest addition to that. This movie is very well acted, very well created, and the heartwarming story in it will just give you all the feels. You're going to cry, you're going to get angry, you're going to be happy. It's just going to be an emotional ride throughout this entire film. Now, it definitely suffers in the way of the way it's shot. The director, I don't know how well they knew what they were doing. It feels like Diane Keaton really stepped in and kind of took over and ran everything. The cinematography is not wonderful as well either. It's all very, very basic. But you can overlook that while watching this movie because of how well Diane Keaton and her surrounding actresses really play their parts. So, this movie, highly recommended, especially because it's a movie unlike anything else we have out there right now. When you need to get away from all the big budget stuff, the superheroes, the horror movies, the comedies that are comedies, when you need to get away from all that, a movie like Poms is where it's going to be at. So watch this one. If you haven't watched it yet, you will not be disappointed. All right, the next movie we're going to talk about is Nightmare Cinema. Nightmare Cinema is the story of five strangers who all meet up at a haunted movie theater where the projectionist, played by Mickey Rourke, shows them five short films that delve into their deepest, darkest fears. I know, it sounds a little corny, sounds a little disinteresting. Who wants to watch five different short films when they're trying to watch a complete movie? But hear me out. This movie is really good. It's going to give you great scares, and mostly that's because of the talent involved in the making of this film. You have directors doing those shorts like David Slade, who made a wonderful vampire movie called 30 Days of Night. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's really good. He also made one of the best Black Mirror episodes, Bandersnatch, and he also made Twilight Saga Eclipse, but we're not going to talk about that one, all right? And then we also have Mick Garris, who not only directed one of the five short films in there, he also directs the rest of the film, the through line throughout the entire movie. And it's all wonderful. If you don't know Mick Garris, he directed things like Critters 2 and Sleepwalkers. Sleepwalkers, amazing movie from 1992. Go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Really good horror movie. And believe it or not, we even have Joe Dante directing part of this film. If you don't know that name, he's the man behind both Gremlins movies, Inner Space, the 1978 Piranhas movie, and just a ton of other stuff. He's definitely a name in filmmaking and in the horror genre. So, once he lends his name something, we know it's going to be good. Now, not everything is great about Nightmare Cinema. There's definitely one of those short films that's unlike the other ones and might not be your cup of tea. But overall, this movie's going to give you the scares that you're looking for in the big budget Hollywood films, but without all the producers and the studios getting involved in it. So, this is by creators for horror fans, and it's going to give you everything you're looking for. And it's going to make your skin crawl. Who doesn't want to watch a movie like that? So, Nightmare Cinema, recommended mostly for horror fans. But even if you're just interested, that sounded interesting to you, the film is so well done that you're going to enjoy it regardless if you're a huge horror fan or not. All those different directors' voices speaking and the way that they work the camera, gorgeous movie, so good to look at, so interesting to watch. The actors aren't the best in it, but they're not terrible either. You're going to be engaged the entire time. So Nightmare Cinema, check it out this weekend, especially if you're a horror fan. It will not disappoint. The final movie we're going to talk about today is Booksmart. And if you're wondering where all these cases are coming from, it's this movie rental store. Yes, they still exist in my area, so I stopped in so that I could use them and show you guys the covers of all these movies. All right, Booksmart, directed by Olivia Wilde. Personally, in my opinion, she's not a great actress, but man, she nails it when she gets behind the camera. I don't know, maybe that's just her neck. But Booksmart is about two girls who, in high school, worried about getting straight A's, attending classes every day, never being late, never forgetting assignments, all that stuff. They are those straight A, head down students trying to get into the best colleges. Well, after they get into a really good college, they realize that some of their classmates who might have not been on their level also got into those same colleges. So what do? They think to themselves, what did I do in my 4 years if I got into the same school as them? I missed out on all the fun. So what do? They decide that they're going to try to cram 4 years worth of fun into one night before graduation. Hijinks ensue after that, and it's spectacular. Caitlin Dever and Beanie Feldstein are the epitome of best friends. I don't know if they're real friends in real life before this movie, but they play best friends so well, and the way that the film's shot, you're going to feel like you're a part of that. You're going to feel like the third person in that trio of people. And that's what's smart about this movie. The writing is clever, the direction is great, the actors are fantastic, but the way it's shot and the way it's made, the way it draws you in is what's going to keep your attention. If you liked movies like Superbad, 10 Things I Hate About You, even Mean Girls, this movie's going to be right up your alley. It is the next classic film, coming of age, high school drama, comedy, all that stuff. It's going to give you all the feels. It's amazing. These girls are fantastic, and not a lot of people saw it in theaters. Shame on you guys, because it's definitely worth a watch. But now that it's available for rent, on demand, in your local rental store, if you have one near you, or anywhere that you can find it, you have to watch it. This is an A-plus movie. It is so fantastic. I can't even describe the feelings that it gave me while watching it. So, Booksmart, definitely, for sure, watch this movie because you will not regret it. All right? So that's the 3 movies that we're going to talk about this week. I recommend watching every single one of them, either this weekend or sometime soon, whenever you got the time. If you're not a horror fan, you can definitely skip Nightmare Cinema, but the other 2, worth seeing for everyone. All right. So leave a comment below talking about a movie that maybe you think was underrated and not a lot of people saw and you'd like people to check out. Comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff that you guys know how to do on YouTube. And I'll see you guys next week with 3 more movies. Bye.